Between Cairo and Hamburg, then Kandahar, the threads of a story began. One that started with academic plans and personal dreams, and ended with an event that shook the world. But how did the story of September 11th begin, before the world knew how it would end? Mohammed El Amir was born in Kafr el-Sheikh, Egypt, before moving with his family to the Al-Omranea district in Giza, where he grew up quiet and disciplined in both his studies and daily life. He enrolled at the Faculty of Engineering at Cairo University. After excelling academically, learned English at the American University in Cairo, and later studied German at the Goethe Institute. He graduated in 1990. After graduation, he longed to continue his academic path abroad. Within that context, Ada decided to travel to Germany to pursue higher studies. In Hamburg, his name appeared in university records as a foreign student seeking academic opportunities until he was accepted at the Technical University of Harburg. The story began in 1996, when German authorities rejected the political asylum request of a Yemeni man named Ramzi Omar, the alias used by Ramzi bin al-Shib at the time. Ramzi filed an appeal on January 17th and then moved to another city in eastern Germany. In Lebanon, a young man named Ziad Jarrah bid farewell to his family in Marj Baka. On April 3, 1996, he departed Beirut Airport for Germany. He learned German in just 3 months, in addition to French and English, and during that period met a Turkish woman who became his girlfriend. 8 days later, on April 11, 1996, Mohammed El Amir went to Al-Quds Mosque, not to pray this time, but to sign his will. In it, he wrote instructions for his washing and burial, asked that no women attend his funeral, and that anyone who had quarreled with him not visit his grave. At that same time, his friend Marwan al-Shehi was celebrating the news of a military scholarship abroad. On April 28, 1996, he departed Dubai Airport for Germany to study German at the Goethe Institute in Bonn. By late 1997, Mohammed El Amir disappeared from Hamburg for the first time. Records show a gap between 1997 and 1998, during which his exact whereabouts were unknown. During that period, Osama bin Laden had announced in February 1998 the creation of the World Islamic Front for Jihad against Jews and Crusaders. By connecting the dates, information, and places, it is believed that Mohammed El Amir traveled to Kandahar, accompanied by Ramzi Omar, who later resumed using the name Ramzi bin al-Shib after his asylum case was rejected. When Mohammed El Amir returned from Afghanistan, he had a new alias, Abu Abdul Rahman. When someone asked, "Where have you been, Mohammed?" he replied that he was dealing with family problems. He appeared sincere, calmer, but also more religious and introspective than before. By the end of that year, Mohammed El Amir, Ramzi bin al-Shib, and Saeed Bahaji moved into an apartment at 54 Marienstrasse, second floor. They were later joined by Marwan al-Shehi and Zakaria al-Sabar. There, the first nucleus was formed of what would later be known as the Hamburg Cell, which U.S. investigators would describe as the kitchen of the 9/11 operation. While Mohammed El Amir was preparing to finish his thesis on urban planning, another mission awaited him, one far closer to his heart. He was called once again to Afghanistan, marking the beginning of the final countdown toward a day that would change the world. In late 1999, secret meetings began with the man later known as the mastermind of the operation, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, who had resurfaced after years of hiding in Asia, carrying an idea he called the strike on America's heart. In early 2000, Marwan al-Sheikhi traveled to the United States after obtaining a student visa, enrolling in a flight training course in Florida. Weeks later, Mohammed Atta followed the same path. Both appeared to outsiders as serious aviation students, living in small apartments and avoiding social life. In Germany, Ramzi bin al-Shib remained in constant contact with them. His US visa was repeatedly denied, making him the link between the Hamburg cell and the leadership in Afghanistan. He sent encrypted reports about training progress and received instructions from Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, who in turn communicated with Osama bin Laden. When the plan was presented to bin Laden, he reportedly asked, "Can you guarantee success?" Khalid Sheikh Mohammed replied confidently, "Yes, God willing." Bin Laden responded, "Then it's settled." By mid-2000, Ziad Jarrah also traveled to Florida, enrolling in a flight school in Venice. There began the practical phase of learning to fly commercial aircraft. One instructor later recalled, "It felt like they were training for something far greater than an exam." As 2001 approached, communications between Ramzi bin al-Shib and Mohammed Atta became more specific, filled with coded phrases such as, "The time is near," "The brothers are ready," and "The birds are in the nest." They seemed ordinary to anyone reading them. In spring 2001, Ramzi bin al-Shib met with Khalid Sheikh Mohammed in Karachi, where the date was set, Tuesday, September 11th, 2001. Pointing to an aviation map, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed said, "They'll seize the world by its throat. 4 planes are enough to change the face of the earth." In the months that followed, Marwan al-Sheikhi was closest to Mohammed Atta, calling him the brother he never had. Meanwhile, Ziad Jarrah grew increasingly hesitant, withdrawn, and spent long hours in prayer and silent tears. On the morning of September 4th, 2001, Ramzi bin al-Shib sent his final email from Karachi to Mohammed Atta, writing, "The hour has come. Prepare for the final journey." On the morning of September 11th, 2001, the United States awoke to an ordinary day, unaware the world was about to change forever. At the same time, 5 passengers at Boston's Logan Airport checked in for American Airlines Flight 11, bound for Los Angeles. The automated system flagged 3 for extra screening, but they passed without issue. Nothing seemed suspicious. At 7:59 a.m., Flight 11 took off from Boston heading west. Just 15 minutes later, radio contact was lost. Initially, it wasn't seen as serious. Such interruptions were common. But at 8:24 a.m., air traffic controllers intercepted a chilling message from the cockpit. "Stay quiet. You'll be fine. We're returning to the airport." The words were directed at the passengers, but it was the beginning of disaster. Moments later, flight attendant Betty Ong managed to contact the American Airlines Operations Center in California. Her voice steady despite the panic. She said,
"I'm number 3 flight attendant on Flight 11. I think the plane's been hijacked. The captain isn't responding, the door is locked, and a crew member's been stabbed."
By then, the plane had veered toward New York. On Long Island, air traffic controller Dave Bottiglia noticed the anomaly on his radar. The plane's altitude and speed data had vanished, replaced by a silent moving dot. He alerted the military, and 2 F-15 fighter jets took off from Otis Air Base, hoping to intercept the unknown target. But time was faster than anyone. At 8:46 a.m., Flight 11 crashed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center. Flames engulfed the upper floors. 17 minutes later, As cameras broadcast the fire live, a second plane appeared in the sky, crashing into the South Tower. But the nightmare wasn't over. At 9:05 a.m., Flight 77 was reported off course. No one doubted anymore. It was a coordinated attack. At 9:37 a.m., it struck the Pentagon, the headquarters of the U.S. Department of Defense. Smoke rose over Washington, and disbelief spread. Then came the fourth blow. United Airlines Flight 93 also veered off course. Passengers fought to regain control, but the plane crashed in a field in Pennsylvania, just 20 minutes from its likely target, the U.S. Capitol. Within the hour, the South Tower collapsed, followed by the North Tower, turning the heart of Manhattan into dust and ash. Nearly 3,000 people were killed in less than 2 hours. From that moment, time itself changed, and a new era in modern history began.